Today I want to continue talking about the problem of finding the equation of an exponential function through two given points. But today I want to deal with the special case that the 2 points that you're given, neither one of them is the y-intercept. So some work will have to be done in order to find the value of a, the y-intercept of the exponential function. So let's consider the following problem as an example. Find the equation of the exponential function through the points 1, 3, and 4, 24. Now, when we're given a problem like this one, our first task is to find the base of the exponential function. First, find the base. So, this process is the same as what we outlined in the previous video. The first thing that we do is we figure out by how many units x has increased. So here is our final x. X equals 4 is the final x. X has increased by, take the final x of 4, subtract the first x of 1. From 1 to 4, x is increased by 3 units. Now, as a consequence of that, moving from the first y value of y equals 3 to the final y value of y equals 24, we must have multiplied by the base 3 times in total. So I'm going to write down our initial y multiplied by the base 3 times is equal to the final y value of 24. Now let's go ahead and let's solve this for b. The first thing that we want to do is we want to divide both sides by 3 in order to isolate b to the power 3. And then to get rid of that third power, we're going to go in and we're going to use the third root. Take the third root of both sides and we find that b is equal to 2. Okay, so now our next task is to find the value of a. Next, find a. Now, in this problem, since the value of a, since the y-intercept is not explicitly given to us, we're going to need to do some calculations to find a. And in order to calculate a, you need 2 ingredients. The first ingredient that you need is one of the 2 points, whichever one is your favorite. And you're also going to need to use the b value. Okay, here's what I mean. We know that the equation has the general form f of x equals a times b to the x. Or if you prefer, you may write this as y equals a, b to the x. We now know that b is equal to 2. And we also have the point well, we technically have 2 points, but I'm just going to pick the point which is my favorite. This one is my favorite because the numbers are smaller. I'm going to pick the point where x is 1 and y is 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this general template, into this general formula here, y equals a, b to the x, and I'm going to fill in the blanks with the b that I have and the pair of x and y that I decided was my favorite. Okay, so the y value from my favorite point is 3. We don't know what a is. That's what we're trying to figure out. The b value for my favorite point is 2. And then the x value from the favorite point is 1. Now notice what's happened. We filled in the value of b that we just calculated. We filled in the values of x and y from our favorite point. And now we have an equation where a is the only thing that's unknown. So let's go ahead and let's solve this for a. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning. For example, there's no point in me writing 2 to the power 1, because 2 to the power 1 is just equal to 2. So now I'm trying to solve for a, trying to isolate a. Currently a is over here being multiplied by 2. So let's divide both sides by 2. And I find that a is equal to 3/2. Alright, so now that we have found the value of a, and we have found the value of b in our earlier calculation, we can finish the problem just by putting all the numbers into their appropriate positions. And we find that f of x should be equal to the a value times the b value to the power x. And this would be our final answer. So let's try another example just to cement the process in our minds. In this problem, we're asked to find the equation of the exponential function through the points -1, 9, and 2, 1/3. So the first thing that we're going to do is find the base. Find the base, so we're going to start by looking at how much x has increased from one point to another. So x increased by, take the final x value of 2, remove the initial x value of 1, x increased by, once again, we're seeing 3 units, going from -1 to +2. So now I'm going to take our first y, 9, multiply it by the base 3 times, and that is equal to the final y of 1/3. So now let's divide both sides by 9. And you may find it a little bit easier to rewrite the right-hand side as 1/3 divided by 9 with the division symbol here. So now let's multiply by the reciprocal. 1/3 times 1/9, and we find that b to the 3rd power should be 1/27. Finally, to get b by itself, and not b to the 3rd, let's use the 3rd root, and the 3rd root of 1/27 is equal to 1/3. So that's our b value. Alright, halfway there. Now that we have our b value, we can use the value of b, and together with our favorite point of this 2 given points, we can now calculate the value of a. So I think probably this first point is my favorite again, just because it doesn't have any fractions in it, right? So let's use our favorite point and our b value to calculate a. Using the point where x and y are equal to -1 and 9 respectively, and we found that b was 1/3. So we have our general form of the equation, y is equal to a b to the x power. We're given a y value that's equal to 9. We don't know what a is just yet. We're trying to calculate that. We're given an x value that's equal to -1. And we have a b value that's equal to 1/3. So let's clean this up and let's try and solve for a. So the first thing that I'm going to do is simplify a little bit. And I'm going to use the fact that if I have something to the power -1, then that reciprocates what we have in the parenthesis. -1 exponent reciprocates. So if I have 1/3 to the power -1, then I can reciprocate 1/3, and that will just get 3. All right, finally, let's finish solving for a by dividing both sides by 3, and we get a is equal to 3. Finally, let's just finish setting up our equation by putting the numbers that we've found into the correct positions. A is equal to 3. B was equal to 1/3. So our function has the form f of x equals a times b to the power x. And this is how we find the equation of an exponential function through 2 points when the a value is not given.